right after Bethesda, which was pretty interesting. But I'm very excited. E3 so far is going to be exciting. I talked about it on the podcast, but truth be said that I didn't really enjoy the podcast because of the fact that our commentary or the whole subject of it all was kind of like, I guess, kind of boring to me. I'm not saying that it was... No, not boring to me, like, as in, like, the topics we were talking about. It's just more, like, the overall, like, tone of everything. Like, everyone was, like, off doing their thing. Or everyone was kind of, like, just not interested in talking about it, I guess. I was super excited about E3, and I wanted to talk a lot about it. I just wanted to just, like, dish out everything. I mean, I like that that Holy Pikachu in the podcast was able to bring out the commentary for certain things I didn't know, which was the Halo 5 being, or the Halo assets being available on Windows 10. I didn't know that existed, but... and he also talked about a few other things, but he didn't look like he was interested, or he didn't input as much. He rather than not being interested, he just didn't input as much. Oh, I should have fast traveled with the Palisades thing. Damn it! Why did I walk so far away then? What the fudge is wrong with me? The fudge is wrong with me. No, is it in here? Really? No, it's a little farther down. How could it be a noticeable plant? I wonder. What kind of plant is this? It's got to be something funky. It's like a funky plant because Capcom is known to do a lot of joke matter kind of things. They're like very funny based things here and there. Oh, that was my bed. Help us anti-up. I don't want to do anti-up. Leave me alone with anti-up. I don't care. Get rid of it. Get rid of that mission off my list because I don't care about that. Considering that you can actually use all that time to actually do nothing with it. Oh, it's in here? Are you it? No. This is it, I think. No, it's an art piece, I think. She said something about an art piece being the thing, right? I don't know what is what. Oh wait, is this the art? Oh no. There it is. But how do you know if it's an art piece, really? Oh, piece art, there we go. Much better. Okay. Okay, we can get out of here now. Got it. I got the piece art. I wonder what she's gonna give me if I was to turn this in. I wonder. Gotta fast travel to freaking place, but I guess it's great to waste time because I have nothing to do anyways on this level of game or at this time of the game already. Because the game is like we're already near the end. We don't have much to do, and oh yeah, we could go back to the Bruce Lee costume that I had originally because I had to change it for the singing lady that we handled not too long ago in the series with the lady with the who keeps grabbing our ass cheek, our Chucky's ass cheeks every time. But anyways, yeah, back to the podcast. It was kind of like there wasn't a lot, like there wasn't enough input into it, and it was so one-sided to me, and I was like, I don't know. But at the very least, at least we got through the podcast, and I mean maybe after the E3 and when we do the June edition of Roscast, hopefully we can get some more input into it, like hopefully get some people to see if they're interested in stuff like that. I know Bao's gonna return for sure. I'm gonna most likely bring him back into the series or bring him back into the podcast. I mean, he might be more of the recurring guest for quite some time. Maybe in the future might have less of Bao only because I want to bring in new people sometimes here and there. Oh, by the way, also, talking about podcasts, I actually got invited to do another podcast, but not by, by a group of 2 people. I want to talk about it in the Ross vlog as well. I will probably talk about it again anyways. I'll probably leave a link down below in this video, maybe. Who knows? I will, or I might not. I might forget it, but if I'll probably talk about it again in the Ross vlog about that. But anyways, I did jump onto a podcast with Devin Bob, I think, right? Like they just recently changed up like their people, I guess. Like one of their friends got disappeared or left the group and said that he just couldn't continue because of his life. And I mean, oh god. And I mean, they were too busy and stuff like that, and they just invited me. Okay, cool. No. They weren't busy. I can't formulate what I want to say when I'm in the mode of like doing these things. Anyways, no, what I meant, like, they invited me out and they were just like, they needed to find guests. I was one of the guests on Twitter they contacted me through Twitter, and they sort of invited me to join their podcast, and I was gladly gonna join, and I did. Timing wise, like, they were wanting me to do it at night and stuff like that, or the afternoon, evening, whatever it is, because I live in Cali and they lived in like the mid-central place. They lived in mid-central, and basically it was kind of out of my time cap, because it was like after when I finished Pokemon MMO recording with Bio on that day that they recorded with me. I was so exhausted, I just went into it. I wasn't expecting a lot of commentary that was good. And yeah, we talked about a lot of things. Talked about my commentary and then my channel stuff, and then they talked about consoles and stuff like that, and E3, of course, as usual, was the topic as well. I talked about E3 on my podcast, and I was like jumping in, like it was on the same day I did the podcast. Actually, it was the funny thing too. Like I was just talking about E3 with Bile and Pika, and I was like, these guys are talking about E3 as well. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't think this was gonna happen, but they were more concentrated on the console sections, where Xbox One could be making a new one, there might be a new Xbox One or a slim PS4 kind of thing. To me, I just felt like my thought wasn't there, so I didn't have 100% of my thoughts in it. But what my thinking was that I don't feel like the consoles are ready to make a move into a slimmer version of themselves yet, or that I don't feel like they would be ready to make a new version of the PS4. Like, I don't feel like it's too quick. I would say it's just too short of amount of time. We just had our current gen consoles not too long ago, like 4 years ago, and they just kept lowering prices every once in a while. And like, thinking about it, it's just, I don't know, I don't feel like it would be ready for it. I wouldn't be ready for it. Nobody would be ready for it. I mean, if it goes cheaper, if the PS4 Slim or whatever it is, Neo, whatever it's called, goes for cheap, I will buy it. I'll try to buy it, because I don't have a PS4. I have an Xbox One, but apparently I lost interest in buying games for Xbox One because there's nothing really special. Only Halo, Gears of War are special. Quantum Break is special. Maybe Dead Rising 4, which I was about to talk about, considering that Dead Rising 4 is something of a sort of like it's sort of like something I like to play, and I don't even have Dead Rising 3 either, so I need to buy that as well after I'm done with Dead Rising 2. I do have Off the Record, and I do have the first one on the 360, and I also have this game, Dead Rising 2, on the 360, but I don't plan on playing the overall. I want to play the DLC as well, but I haven't purchased the DLC either on the 360. Anyways, I'm sitting here waiting. I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but it's just, there's so much to put into this comment. Like, there's so much to say, and it's all correlated to this series in general. But in general, I just wanted to just talk because there's nothing to do, really, because we only got an hour left with Katie here before we give her injection. And then we just got, like, this. Good job, Chuck. You found more Zombrex. Well, I wish it lasts longer. It's getting hard to find. I'll be the one. I'll be back when, whatever. Yeah, it seems like she's just sitting there now. But yeah, basically, I've done a lot of the things already, so I don't have anything else to do. I don't want to join in the ante up. I know it's just a poker game, basically, like a Texas Hold'em. If you haven't played that, it's a pretty interesting game. Not really bad of a game. My preferred game in cards is 21, I think, because 21 is pretty interesting. And War, yeah, War was my favorite card game. I literally love War. War was just like the best. But anyways, we're wasting time here just talking, I guess, because look at that, 6:25 a.m. It's not even 7 a.m. yet. Deadline is 8 a.m., but of course 7 a.m. is when it starts being available. What else? Oh yeah, back to the podcast. Yeah, I didn't talk much in that podcast of theirs because I didn't know where to insert my commentary, because every time when they spoke, I didn't know when they're going to end it. I always try to keep in mind the commentary. Like, if you watch the series from start to the end of where Shelby quits playing, basically, I didn't know when whenever she speaks, when I was editing the videos, I didn't know when she was speaking, and I just speak over her. I stop her from her commentary every once in a while because I didn't mean. I was trying to like say something or input something in a sense, but I just forget that my mind always forget that there's somebody there to talk to me, and I just need to learn how to pace my commentary, and that's why I lose control when it comes down to co-commentary or podcasting or anything like that. I mean, if I'm a guest of some other podcast, of course I'm considerate about the people who actually is the host of the podcast, and I don't want to talk over them or stop them from talking. If they ever wanted to, you know, ask a question, I would love to gladly put in all my input and stuff like that. But overall, I just couldn't find a way to talk in that podcast in full honesty. I really wanted to say more at some points, but I just lost commentary because I was tired, and I didn't know when they were going to end that little conversation with certain things. And we also talk about comic books too, so I didn't know 100% of comic books. I know a little bit of comic books, like Deadpool. I know very little. I know like Justice League. In fact, I didn't get to say this, but I actually read the I didn't read it, but I watch a lot of YouTube videos with summarizing the comic book stuff because I don't really often buy comic books. In actuality, I'm not sponsored to talk about this, but I actually had when I was going through Amazon, there was a free copy of like some comic book, a digital copy of it. I forgot what it was, and it was like from Comixology, I think was it. I get emails from them once in a while, but that's only because I subscribe to their email list. But yeah, I wanted to check that out and use it as a way to like check out comic books. But overall, I don't have a comic book store around here. Not often will I find one, and the only way to find one is just going online and watching videos, as I mentioned, with summary telling. The one I liked so far is Marvel Zombies. That's one of my favorites. Considering that it does give me the goosebumps and the scares. It gives me nightmares, actually. Considering that I know how good it is, and story-wise, it's so scary because it's like, what happens if we were facing that kind of horror, you know?
Dad, it didn't let me get to the save point. I'm gonna have to restart.
Just like us, almost.
Time for your medicine.
Alrighty. Yeah, she felt sick last time, I think. That music sounds familiar. They're using some assets from old school games.
The rescue's coming soon. Sullivan said they'll save anyone at the bunker at first light. There still might be people out there that we can help. If you can get them back here in time.
I already did.
It never stops, does it?
Nope. That's an interesting line too at the same time. Like, Chuck knows that there will never be an end to it either. 9 a.m. so we got like 2 hours. Around 2 hours. Alright. Yes. I won't continue saving again. Alright, so anything up? I already saved everyone. See, I don't have anything to do again. Look at this. I have nothing to do. There's only anti-up in the main mission. Main mission, I have to be here in 2 hours. And that's it. I have no more to do. I'm only sitting here commentating because I have nothing to do. So if you're hearing this, this is like a mini podcast with me. Just me alone, commentary-wise. I mean, I could just easily cut to the point where I actually waited and everything. But I want to put some thoughts in as well because I don't want it to be just empty of nothing and just me just looking at my clock timer. I mean, Funhouse actually had it differently where they just like sped it up with them walking around in the background. But I don't have any other computer. This is my only computer, and I can't speed up my recording. I wish that this one had. I wish Dead Rising had this like little thing with Fallout 4 and Witcher 3 where they can just meditate or they can just stand there for a certain amount of time, just to waste time. Like, they didn't have that implemented because they were thinking somebody could not finish all those things. Like, if you're very organizable, like you like to organize in terms of time, things to save, you put things in priority, basically you're going to finish this game really quickly, actually. And if you didn't know what you're doing, it's your first time playing, I wanted to get out of that room because Tiger's like snoring too loudly. Like, if you didn't know what you're doing, you basically lose track and you lose a lot of like progress because you might mess up a lot. But once you know what you're doing, you're just like, it's boring now. It's like there's nothing new to do. It's just the same old, same old. But yeah, I mean, if you replay it, you know the noticeable little things, and it makes it easier for you to like get through easily. And your levels like come back with you anyways if you restart it and stuff. So that's the case there. Oh, there we go. There we go. Gotta move to the side. Into the Atlantic Casino. But there is also the DLC stuff. I also forgot to talk about the shelves right now. Thank you, Con.